Hello, everybody. This is Cody Kennedy from Beat Lupus Naturally. We are doing another lupus chat, and I'm really excited today to have with me Alex. Now, Alex is a life coach and also a hypnotherapist, and she's going to talk to us about things like hypnotherapy, tapping and mindset around your disease. So I'm really happy to have Alex with us here today. I'm just going to bring her on now. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be here.
How are you?
I'm really well, thank you.
That's good. I'm good. Alex,
Good.
can you just start by telling everybody listening about your journey with lupus and when you were first diagnosed and what sort of symptoms you had as well?
Sure. So I was initially diagnosed with Sjogren's disease in 2010, and then I just got a lot sicker as the years went on. And my lupus diagnosis was in 2013. My symptoms were I was getting progressively sick. I would catch every cold and flu under the sun and then be in bed for 3 weeks at a time. I developed chronic joint pain and chronic inflammation, fatigue. I lost strength in my hands and my wrists, so I couldn't pick anything up. I couldn't make myself a cup of tea. Those kind of things. Couldn't drive. I had impaired cognitive function. I couldn't take in information. I couldn't read. I couldn't study. So it was all quite frightening at the time.
Yeah. So initially, so that was 2010. Was that the Sjogren's, or when we diagnosed with lupus? Sorry, 2010.
2013.
Right. Okay. And when you were initially diagnosed, what sort of meds were you put on?
So I was on prednisone and methotrexate. So I was on 30 milligrams of methotrexate,
Right.
and it took about 8 months for it to start working.
Wow.
So I was on and off the prednisone in that time, and was on the methotrexate for about 2 years.
Right. Okay. And what about now?
Now, so after the methotrexate, I actually went on to Plaquenil, and now I am medication free, which is very exciting.
Fabulous.
Yes.
And I guess everybody's going to be asking, how did she get medication free? So what happened between then and now?
Well, it was a process. It was a journey. I did a lot of research into my health. I had watched an interview with a doctor who said if you were diagnosed with an illness, you need to treat your body like a temple, and you need to do whatever it takes to get well. So I started looking into foods. So I was eating paleo. I was making my own kombucha, so fermented foods. I ditched all the household products and started making my own non-toxic cleaners. I got rid of all the toxic people I had in my life. So I was just really detoxing. But it wasn't until, and I was also trying a lot of alternative therapies, so Bowen therapy, kinesiology, Reiki, all that type of thing.
Right.
But it wasn't until, I guess, working with you, Cody, and really exploring the nutritional side of things that I really noticed the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've come such a long way, I think, since even when I think I met you, what was it, probably about 18 months ago, maybe 2 years?
Yeah.
You've come a long way in that time. But I know you've also, you've spent it's been a multifaceted approach for you, which is what I always recommend anyway. It's not just been working on your diet or supplements. It's actually been a bit of everything that you've done. And you've spent a great deal of time educating yourself on, how you can manage different aspects of your condition. And I know that you focus a lot on mindset along the way. So just tell us a little bit about that and about negativity, really, and how you think that affects the disease.
Yeah, sure. Well, we know that studies have shown that chronic pain and inflammation can cause stress and emotional issues. And people who have suffered from trauma or PTSD in the past are at higher risk of developing chronic pain. And that's different for everyone. You know, when the body goes into flight or fight mode, that survival mode, it means our nervous system is constantly on and releasing those stress hormones into the body. So you can get trapped in that negative cycle of negative thinking and negative emotions. We know that stress can lead to stomach aches and IBS and headaches, but it also leads to that chronic pain and inflammation. So, and that can lead to feelings of depression and anxiety and helplessness.
Yeah.
So it's really important to work on your mindset and work on a positive mindset and reframe the negative stuff, and work on your emotional stuff so you can heal.
Yeah. It's very difficult though, isn't it, when you are absolutely in the depths of the disease to go, oh wow, yeah, I feel really positive. So how do you recommend people go about doing that?
Again, look, it's a process, and it took me a long time as well. I discovered mindfulness meditation, and that really helped me a lot.
Yes.
Self-compassion was a really big one for me. So letting go of the need to be perfect and just allowing myself to live in the moment and just to be, you know, accepting that I was sick, and that, you know, it's not about mourning the person that I used to be. It's about finding a new way of life. So simple things like that really helped me a lot. And yeah, definitely the meditation really, really helped me. Okay. So it's just about being mindful and being appreciative, having gratitude, and it takes practice, but it really works.
It's a skill. It's a skill to be able to do that. So how you think about your disease is important, and I am totally with you. When you're very stressed, your body releases more cortisol, and when you have more cortisol in your system, you have more inflammation, and often, you know, these things cascade, you know, into other problems within the body as well because of that inflammation. But so one of the main symptoms that you had was joint pain.
Yes.
So how did you go about managing that? I know that you used the hypnotherapy for that. So just tell us how that came about and, you know, how that worked for you.
Sure. So I saw a hypnotherapist actually around the time of my diagnosis, and she helped me a lot with self-compassion and the way I spoke to myself, which was really great. But when I started studying life coaching and I did my hypnotherapy course, I was just amazed at how quickly it helped to relieve my pain levels. So I went on the particular one day of my training. My pain level was at a 7 that day and reduced right down to a 3. And that just blew my mind. It was just so fast. So within, you know, half an hour, 45 minutes. And it's incredible. So being a hypnotherapist now, I'm able to guide myself through the process and help to reduce my own pain as well as help my clients, which is really cool.
I remember speaking to you after that weekend where you had done that, and you were just so blown away by how much it had, how much you felt it had controlled your pain, I suppose, or helped you to gain some sense of control over it, which is amazing, really. So can you just talk me through the process, Alex? How long does it take, and what sort of results can someone expect if they have hypnotherapy?
Sure. Look, everyone's individual, so it's going to be an individual response. And as for time in one session, like I usually tell clients anything between 45 minutes to an hour. So usually we have a chat about, you know, what's going on emotionally, and I'll do some coaching around that as well. Sorry, my cat's
I love it. And just the flick of the tail at the end.
Actually. So it really helps to change your thoughts and your feelings and your behavior patterns. So with pain, for example, it's a very visual process. So once I guide you into the meditative state, then I'll get you to visualize your pain and give it a shape and a color. And then we reduce that pain, and it's like imagining it like an ice block and that dripping down your body and out through your toes and pooling in a puddle of water at the bottom of your feet. So that just, it's incredible. Something so simple helps to reduce the pain level.
And is it something that people can get a result with just in the first session, or do they, you know, need to have 5 or 6 sessions in order to actually feel some difference in their pain level?
Again, everyone's different, but for me, I had a massive result in my first session, and since then, you know, I have a top up every now and again. But I generally recommend for someone who's new to this to have at least 3 sessions to start with, because it's not just about the visual process, it's about getting to the core of your thoughts and emotional feelings as well, and helping to release those. So
and Alex, sorry, go on.
So maybe 2 or 3 sessions would really do that.
And once someone has had sessions with a hypnotherapist, are they then able to go and replicate this at home by themselves, or is it something they always need to have done, need to come back to you, like you're saying, every now and again to just get a top up? But is it something they can go and practice at home by themselves?
They absolutely can. Usually your hypnotherapist will also give you a audio to take home, so then you can listen to their voice and they can guide it through as well. So
do you do that?
I do that. I recorded my own voice on my phone, and so I guide myself through it whenever I need that pain relief.
Okay. And what about fatigue? So how did you manage the fatigue side? Because those were really your 2 sort of main things, weren't they? Was the fatigue. You had a bit of the cognitive function as well, but it was mainly fatigue and the joint pain. How did you manage the fatigue?
So at first it was a lot of, you know, protein, extra protein and that kind of stuff. So nutrition really helped. And supplements as well. Yeah. And then I used things like tapping, so EFT. So tapping to lift my energy levels, which I find really helpful.
Okay.
So meditation, like I meditate every day, and that helps my clarity of mind and just to start my day. Yeah.
So if someone wanted to learn a bit more about the tapping, so this is tapping, isn't it? Is this tapping?
So it's about tapping in the meridian points that are just sitting under the surface of the skin, and following along with some statements as well. And that can be about reducing pain, reducing emotional states, bringing in abundance and wealth into your life. There's a whole variety of things that it's used for. It's awesome.
Okay. I know of people who use tapping for anxiety actually, and find it really helpful with children. So it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because children are definitely more in tune with their intuition and emotion, I guess you would say. And yeah, I do know people that successfully use it with children who are quite anxious and don't sleep and things like that. Would you say that's the case as well?
Yes, absolutely. And because it's a natural pain-free technique, like it helps so quickly to achieve that physical and emotional well-being. Yeah.
And where can people learn more about tapping?
So I mean, you can just Google it. There is so much information on Google about tapping. There's YouTube videos. I highly recommend Brad Yates on YouTube. I love his style and his energy. I think he's marvelous. He's got short videos that can go from, 4 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever you want. So he's got ones on raising your vibrational energy, how to feel good, how to attract love and money into your life, abundance, all that kind of stuff. So
Okay. And that was Brad Yates.
Brad Yates.
Okay, we might put a link up.
Yeah, I'll do that.
On the, yeah.
Yeah, there's also a documentary by Nick Ortner, The Tapping Solution. That's very interesting too.
Okay.
So he goes into a lot more
Okay.
about the chronic illness and pain side of things. So
Okay.
he's a good one to link to as well.
I think that people really are looking for alternative ways to help themselves, and not always just with supplements. So things like this, if it empowers people a bit more, I think it's really worth them looking into. So we'll definitely put those two things up on the Facebook page.
Yes. And I think like that word empower is so strong. Like, know that your illness is not a death sentence. It's your body's way of telling you that you just need to make some changes in your life. So make them good, healthy changes and you'll get better. Yeah.
Well, that's exactly right. And I think it's difficult. There's been a few people in the group recently who are newly diagnosed, and they are, scared, and it's just such a life-changing diagnosis that I think actually watching a video like this and knowing that you can feel a bit more empowered and in control is really it's very powerful for people mentally to know that. And from my experience as well, the people who do well with lupus are often the people who are able to have some kind of positive approach to it and not focus so much on the negative, which, as we said at the beginning, is incredibly hard when you're in the midst of it. But it's a life skill that will help you out in so many ways.
Yeah.
We do have some questions that I just wanted to. Was there anything else you wanted to say before I go to the questions, Alex, about the hypnotherapy or the tapping or the mindset? Anything at all that you'd like to say?
Yes, with the mindset, look, just laugh. Make sure you invite laughter and fun into your life. I know that's not easy when you're in the depths of your illness, but it's so important to have laughter and fun. So do whatever you can to bring that into your life on a daily basis. It's so important.
Yeah, great. Okay, so we have some questions. So the first question is from Yasina. So Yasina has asked, she has lots of issues with sleep. She just finds that her mind is running 100 miles an hour and she can't sleep. So she has said, what would you recommend to help with sleep? What can she do that's going to help her?
Meditate every day, hypnosis, empower yourself with positive feelings and know that you are safe. So when we are in that stressed pain, inflammation cycle, we feel unsafe. So it's about finding ways to, feel safe in your body, in your bed, so you can have a good night's sleep. So through meditation and hypnosis,
I think
it's about, being able to calm the nervous system and reduce those stress chemicals that are released into the system. So once you do that, then your sleep pattern will get better.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I think the meditation is just key to really calming down the chatter in your mind. And do you recommend when people meditate that they only do it before bed, or do you recommend they do it in the morning, or is there a certain time of day it's more beneficial, actually, particularly for sleep?
Look, everyone's different. So I was doing it twice a day, and I would find even listening to a recording while I'm in bed, and that would help me sleep. So there's loads of guided meditations out there that are specific for sleep. So even if you fall asleep while you're listening to it, great. Yeah,
that's right. Okay, now Stephanie has asked, she said she really struggles with hypnosis because, she thinks of the shows, Look Into My Eyes, the entertainment type of hypnosis. And she said she struggles a bit with using it, excuse me, therapeutically. And what are the sort of pros and cons of using it therapeutically. She is interested in using it for urinary retention.
Okay, sure. So stage hypnosis is really different to hypnotherapy as a treatment, as a therapy. As a complementary therapy, we use the power of positive suggestion to bring about changes to the subconscious mind. So it's about changing the negative thinking patterns into more positive ones. And the thing is, you're in full control the entire time. You're fully aware of what's going on and what's being said to you. So it's not like you're asleep and someone's doing something to you. That's not the case at all. It's just about using language to make things better and improve your state. So it helps to break habits and reduce that stress and anxiety. And it's quite powerful. So it can be used for a range of health conditions. I would have to do some research into her specific, so I can do that and get back to you.
Yeah, I think that would be great for Stephanie if you could look into that. It's an interesting question because it's not something that really comes to mind for me with hypnosis, but you know, you never know. I will just give Stephanie one tip while we're on here. Creativa is a herb which is very good for urinary incontinence, urinary retention, just the integrity and the tension of the bladder. And that's called Creativa, and that's a really good herb for that. So she might want to look that one up.
Right.
Ursula also asked if any of these things could be useful for heart palpitations. So this is quite a common issue for people with lupus. So is there anything that you would recommend for heart palpitations?
Absolutely, hypnosis can help because it is about calming the nervous system down. I did find an article that I'd like to send her as well. So I did see her post last night. So I'll send that link through as well, and then you can have a read of that. So again, it's about calming the nervous system and being able to manage it that way. So yeah.
So you would recommend more hypnotherapy for heart palpitations than tapping? Or do you think the tapping would work as well?
At this stage, I would go with the hypnotherapy. Although the tapping is really good for reducing stress too. You know, why not try both? I use both all the time, so yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, that's all the questions that we have. I'm just having a look to see if we've got any more coming while we've been chatting. Chelsea says, hello, I feel your pain. Pain, good. So one of the things I just wanted to tell everyone at the end of the interview today was that, as I mentioned at the beginning, Alex is a life coach and a hypnotherapist. She has actually put together a special offer just for people who are in the lupus group, which is just so lovely of her. So she's doing a 3 sessions package for $270. Now that's Australian dollars. Excuse me. So if you're in the US, that works out probably about $220 US. And that works out at about 90 Australian dollars a session. So it's actually valued at $360. So it's a bargain. If you would like to take Alex up, you need to get in touch with her and quote mindset. So just use the quote mindset if you'd like to take her up on this. And she's also said that she recommends 3 sessions to really get to grips with what's going on and how you can get a bit more control using things like hypnotherapy. Alex, can people do these sessions with you via Skype, or how do you do them if people aren't local? Because you're locally close to me here in Australia.
Yes, I've done it via Skype and even on the phone before, so
okay.
Very effective still, yes.
Okay, great. I will put the details up of the offer on the Facebook page. Thank you, Alex, so much for joining us today. I'm just going to say goodbye to everyone. So thank you, everyone who's listened. If you're watching later on, this will be up on the YouTube channel and on the Facebook page, so please watch. And if you would like to learn a little bit more about my lupus program, you can get in touch with me at beatlupusnaturally.com or fill in the inquiry form and catch up with me on a free Skype call. Have a great day. Thanks.
Thanks, Cody.
Thank you.
Bye.